story?
Story today, folks, we're doing a lineup of Laurent Perrier.
Fabulous producer in Champagne.
Been around for about 200 years now.
They know what they're doing.
First one.
Alright.
This is the Ultra Brut.
Alrighty.
Looks like that.
Looks a little bit like this pretty gorgeous blue label. So Ultra Brut, then we're talking not anything sweet. If you want a sweet champagne, please go look someplace else. This is not that. It's going to be very dry.
Yep. It's very clean, very intense, beautiful acidity to it.
It's like it just evaporates off of my tongue.
A little bit of citrus in the mid palate. Delicious.
And as light as it is, it still has a lot of
Next.
flavor. Oh, but,
That's not all. All right, this is non-vintage Brut. When they say non-vintage, they mean essentially a blend of multiple vintages to create a particular style that's consistent over time.
Right, not the best of 1 year, the best of many years, all in one. So,
Indeed.
look at how it's just.
Drink it.
Oh, okay. Yes, and so you can taste the difference between Ultra Brut and then what we have here with their.
It's going to contain a little bit of residual sugar, but don't think of it as a sweet champagne at all. This is very, very dry.
It is.
I'm picking up a little bit more yeast in the palate than I did with the Ultra Brut. Very nice.
A little more fruit forward, I
Nothing
feel like.
is an example. Perfect. Next. This is the 2004 model. So a vintage champagne is essentially the same thing as the regular Brut. What they have found is there's a particular quality and particular character that comes out of particular vintages, and so they bottle those separately. So we're talking extremely small production. A lot of times less than 1% of the total production of champagne is actually deemed vintage. So you're not talking about a lot of juice here.
No.
What do you got?
Delicious. Here again, you're getting more. I get more sort of apricot, sort of more ripe fruit than I was getting in the former.
I do too. That's very nice. Yeah, a little more citrus in the mid palate again, just like I did with the Ultra Brut, and then it's almost you almost get a kiwi or a little bit of.
You are so spot on. It is super kiwi. Yeah, for sure. No, it's great. And so again, with this being a vintage champagne, that it is the best of 1 year as opposed to the best of many years.
Wow, that's delicious.
Lovely. And I'm getting really excited because this is coming up.
So this is the Rosé, and Rosé champagne. This happens to be my favorite example of Rosé
look
champagne.
at the lovely shade.
Not to say that there aren't wonderful examples out there from numerous producers that I like, but
this is the best.
and this one is my favorite.
And taste this, because to me this one has some sort of, if you imagine like you're drinking rose petals or something to that effect, and that I feel like it has more depth.
Color is like that. So with Rosé champagne, you get almost a salmon sort of color to it.
Speaking of which, I bet this would pair up very well with salmon, don't you? That's the other thing. Champagne goes well with everything, damn near everything.
It is the single most food-friendly drink available anywhere on the planet.
Absolutely stunning.
Next one's called Grand Siècle. Looks like this. This is essentially Laurent Perrier's finer example, their top line.
Fantastic. So in taking a look at this top echelon of Laurent Perrier, what are you getting, Peter?
A lot more, you get a little bit of that bread dough again, but it's actually subdued by a lot more interesting fruits, a lot more balance to it than I got in any of the other ones, even the Rosé, which I really like.
Oh yeah.
But the Grand Siècle has a complexity that you're not seeing with, in fact, I don't see that kind of complexity with a lot of champagnes.
For sure. It transitions as opposed to like a like a one act situation. You're okay. Here's Act 1. Here's Act 2. This has like 3 acts in it.
You know, it's interesting how the different complexities, and I could say this about the Rosé as well, but it's much more obvious with Grand Siècle that it allows the taster to actually see the different flavor profiles one at a time within their mouth.
Right. Like hold your hand as it waltzes along your palate.
It's pretty interesting.
Yes, I think so. Quite lovely. We have one more of the Laurent Perrier lineup.
50 times the complexity, 50 times the flavor profile, but you still get that effervescent sweetness
So
up
think
front.
about like your favorite sparkling wine like goes to heaven and like becomes a saint. This is a saint of a sparkling wine, I have to say.
It is quite lovely, indeed.
Makes me want to kiss you. All in all,
I think it's delicious. Laurent Perrier does a fantastic job. The full lineup is fabulous. I particularly like the rosé, but I was extremely impressed by Grand Siècle. With the complexity, just was quite mind-blowing.
Yes. That's an O factor. Fantastic. Cheers to that.
Thanks for joining, folks.
Bonsoir.